Another week, another fad on Instagram, and this week we are going to be participating in the hashtag Toon Me Challenge. If you don't know what the hashtag Toon Me Challenge is, it's a challenge where you take a selfie and you draw over half of your face to create your illustrated or cartoon self. This looks like so much fun to participate in, but I thought it would be really fun to do things like me, but also my cat, maybe a background, different objects. I just want to see what else we can toonify and have a lot of fun with it. So let's get into it. The hashtag Toon Me Challenge, plus others. So obviously we have to start off this challenge with what we are all here for, and that is turning myself into my cartoon version. So the first challenge I ran into was deciding on where to split the screen, how I wanted to split the screen. Obviously, as you can tell from my pose, I did want the left side to be the illustrated part because I thought it would be really cute to hold something like an ant, obviously because it's my signature. But the way that you split yourself with your Toon version is half, I feel like, of the illustration. You can have a gradient from real to fake. Some people were tracing the actual contour and shape of their face, which was really cool and I did like the look of it, but because my style is just so cartoony and stylized, that just wasn't going to work. I think the biggest challenge here is that I did want to keep the look and the feel and obviously the proportions of my illustrated self, which was kind of difficult because when you're putting it side by side with a real head, it looks kind of odd. Where I put the nose and mouth and eyes on my cartoon self is way different than my real self. So having an eyeball, I don't know, on my cheek when I have an eyeball where it's supposed to be in the real photo was looking kind of odd. I also don't give my characters a whole lot of chin, so I did want to put the mouth really low, which didn't align with my real mouth, so that was looking kind of weird. So I ended up going with an open mouth for this one because if the mouths didn't align, it just looked weird. In the end, with a little bit of fiddling, I was able to find proportions that were still true to my cartoon self, but also lined up so that it didn't look too weird with my real face. I also give my characters really thin, small necks, so when I tried to give myself small neck on my cartoon self, it just looked so odd. So unfortunately, the proportions there are a little off for my cartoon version, but like I said, I think I was able to overall stay true to my cartoon self, and it ended up being really nice. This was a really fun and cute challenge, and I love Instagram for this. It just feels like the whole art community comes together, and it's just so much fun to find everyone's versions, everyone's different styles, everyone's twists, and I have followed so many new artists on Instagram because of this challenge, so I absolutely love things like this. Okay, so now that we have done the basic hashtag Toon Me, let's move on to some more fun and interesting things in real life to redraw. You know I couldn't do an Instagram challenge without drawing the queen herself, Sock Kasey. Now you may have noticed in the lovely cringe compilation of me taking selfies, thank you to the iPhone Live feature that I somehow can't seem to keep disabled, we were able to see all of those lovely moments of me taking a selfie and then putting the camera down awkwardly. You may have noticed Sock Kasey come up in a few of those photos, and this was actually not a photo I took that day, but I love this photo of Sock Kasey, and I couldn't help but picture her as she sees herself, the perfect Instagram model, so hot, so sexy, rocking that fur coat, completely butt naked under it. And this has got to be my favorite of these photos that I redrew. It is just hysterical, turning Sock Kasey into something real. As usual, I did struggle a little bit with choosing where I wanted to split the photo, but I think I found a really lovely place. I mean, down the middle was what I was shooting for, but I think a diagonal cut just makes the photos look a little more interesting. After that, it was just chiseling out this perfect, beautiful body of Sock Kasey's. And just in case any of you don't know who Sock Kasey is, she's basically the most popular influencer on Instagram. If you haven't heard of her, I would be very surprised. She does YouTube videos, she has a Twitter, Instagram. She's an icon, what can I say? If I'm going to do fan art, it's definitely going to be of Sock Kasey. Feeling hashtag blessed I even share a name with her, honestly. So obviously in the original photo, she is completely covered up with her coat, but I did want to add a lot more personality to her as if she were a human because she is just a sock puppet. She's a little stiff, she's a little rigid, limited in her movements, but I know if she was a real person, she would be posing in the most dynamic and sexy of ways, showing off that bod any opportunity she has. Mouth agape, just ready for those snags. The more I talk about Sock Kasey, the more fan art I want to make of her. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with Sock Kasey. So obviously the final detail we had to add to our Sock Kasey image was the rainbow of light, which I had so much fun adding. This strip of color added so much more personality and just wow. I mean, her body already says wow, but the rainbow just adds some color and a little flirty fun. So there is our Sock Kasey hashtag Toon Me. And hey, if you want to follow Sock Kasey on Instagram or Twitter, I will leave her links down below in the description. Why not? Shout out to Sock Kasey. Next up, we have my cat, Mr. Kitty. I absolutely could not resist drawing my cat in cartoon version. As soon as I saw this challenge, I knew I had to draw him. So once again, where the heck was I going to split this picture? Because Mr. Kitty is sitting in a way where, sure, I could split him down the middle, but then he had his fluffy tail to the side, and I really wanted to include his fluffy tail. But did I want to draw his cute little paws, or did I want to draw his back? There were just so many options. I mean, there were two options. After sketching the left side of him and then sketching the right side of him and comparing the two different versions, I suppose, I decided that the left side where you can see his paws were a lot more cuter than his fluffy butt. As great as his fluffy butt is, I just found that drawing those little paws was a lot more cuter, a lot more fun to draw. So obviously after making that decision, it was just smooth sailing from there, turning this very simple background into an illustrated version. I don't know if it's the fact that I just don't draw a whole lot of background elements, or if it's just the fact that I was mimicking a photo, so things were kind of looking like a mix between my style and something that was a little bit more real. Not at all saying my style is realistic here, but just the proportions of things and physics, I suppose, of reality. I felt like I had to duplicate them just a little bit more to fit my style compared to the photo. Again, with Mr. Kitty's face, I just felt like the proportions weren't exactly how I would draw a cartoon cat because I felt like the nose and the mouth had to match up or it would just look super duper weird. Overall, I do still feel like I was able to capture the basic feel or vibe, I guess, of my cartoon style. But like I said, the proportions are just a little differently than how I would have drawn him as just a cartoon. But I suppose that is part of this challenge, trying to fit your cartoon self with the reality of you, or in this case, my cat. Actually, I think the point of this challenge is just to have fun and compare. It's kind of like artist versus art, but in a fun way where you're mashing the two photos together. That's really it. Anyways, there's Mr. Kitty. So next up in my photo shoot, I was just grabbing different random objects from my office and I wanted to draw Dennis. And I saw this amazing fish pencil holder that I got from a Doodle Date collaboration video, which seems to come up in my videos from time to time. Don't know why. So I put these two together and just snapped a photo. Nothing great, nothing unusual about it. It's just Dennis holding a fish. So I thought it would be really cute and fun not only to redraw Dennis holding a fish, but to put him in the ocean and put a background and just completely turn this into an illustration of itself, like as if he is part of the imagination of like a kid who's playing with a plushie toy. They put these two together. And what do they see? They see Dennis standing in an ocean, holding a slippery giant fish, being terrified, being disgusted. But then also we have the reality of the photo where it's just a Dennis plushie being pinned together to a fish pencil pouch. The concept of this one is very simple, but I thought it was really innocent and just really cute and fun, and I just really wanted to draw a stupid looking fish. What can I say? It really makes you realize that something as simple as this hashtag Toon Me challenge or just hashtag Toon Me fad, something silly and fun like this can really inspire you to create other things. I also thought about turning a meetup photo of me and a bunch of you guys into me as the ant queen and you guys as little ants behind me. It turned out a little cluttered, so I dropped that idea, but it was just something really fun and silly that I thought would come out of this challenge. And basically, it's just really fun to take ideas like these and let your imagination run wild. Oh boy, is this turning into a very corny moment where I talk about how art is so inspiring and it brings us together via social media and we're all part of a community and everything is great? Wow, I sure love being an artist. Okay, moving on. So our last hashtag Toon Me, or I guess in this case, hashtag Toon My Shelf. Oh my god, wait. Hashtag Toon My Shelf? Like, myself? Oh, I love that pun. Super unintentional, but I love it. Okay, moving on. I really struggled with how to split this image. If you can't tell, I did so many different little circly lines. I just couldn't decide. On one hand, I wanted to draw all of my characters because they're adorable, but on the other, I wanted to make sure there was a big portion of the background, but also I wanted to draw a cactus cat. In case you're wondering, these little figurines were made and gifted to me by mayfox_draws on Instagram. I will link her in the description below. I love these little figures. I cherish them. She is an amazing artist. I have enjoyed watching her progress over the year. So shout out to Mayfox, go give her a follow. But for now, let's talk about the redraw of this photo, which is kind of silly. It almost turned into this hashtag draw this in your style type of drawing because the figures in itself are kind of like an art form and I'm redrawing them in my style, but also they had to kind of fit this little squish style, especially with Owlina because she had to connect to that figure. But I had so much fun playing around with these cute little chibi styles of my characters. They just turned out so dang cute, and something else I was super excited about, which is kind of stupid and silly, but I was excited about blurring the background. I love my traditional art, I love my watercolors, but when it comes to drawing a character and wanting to blur the background so that the focus is better on that character, it's just blurring a background with traditional art mediums isn't something I'm familiar with. Honestly, I could probably also do that by scanning my art and then altering it digitally, but either way, I was super excited to create depth in this image by blurring the cat cactus in the background, and I think it turned out really well. It really pushes the characters forward and brings your attention to them more than it does the background, and that's probably something that would really help my traditional art. But like I said, don't know how to do that. Maybe one day I'll learn. So this one obviously took the longest. There were so many characters, so many details, but I think it turned out really super cute and fun. Oh, and I guess I should mention the cactus girl in the background was drawn by Dina Norland here on YouTube and Instagram. She did my hashtag draw this in your style cactus girl and mailed it to me. I love it. It's amazing. Go give her a follow as well. Okay, this illustration turned into me gushing about other artists and blurred backgrounds. I love this redraw, cute, squishy little Dennis Hatch and Owlina in a blurred background. What can I say? I really enjoyed this one. And that is it for the hashtag Toon Me challenge and others. I hope you guys enjoyed this silly and fun video. Let me know in the comments, are you participating in hashtag Toon Me? You know what? Use the hashtag Toon Me Kasey on Twitter or Instagram, and maybe I'll even draw one of you guys in an upcoming video. It's like hashtag draw this in your style, but with your face. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay golden. Nope, I'm back because guess what? My patrons are amazing and I want to say thank you because you guys are so great. Do you want to support me and become a patron? Check out the link in the description. Coloring pages, early access to videos, secret sketches. Join or don't. All right, that's it. Bye.